very good afternoon. You're watching the Big Lunch Hour with me, Akshita. And first up, Manikantan, the plumber turned robot inventor, has begun operations to extricate the body of 6-year-old Timmanna. The operations come after the parents and villagers agreed to call off the rescue efforts yesterday. A foul smell emanating from the disused borewell has confirmed that the child was no longer alive. But we understand that the rescue operations will resume, this time using technology. The digging will not take place, the excavation will not happen. But beyond that, it is understood that through the mouth of the borewell, they are going to try once again to pull out the 6-year-old boy. Remember, he's stuck at about 160 feet. Keeping that in mind, the district in charge minister, S.R. Patil, has announced that they will be trying once again, but without digging, so as to cause some minimum problems to the farmers in the region. Well, it is confirmed, of course, that little Timmanna has more or less not survived that incident, considering that there is a foul smell that's emanating from the borewell. Also, where they put the vacuum service in to go ahead and suck out some of the mud, they did get that smell once again. So it's pretty much given that his body has already started decaying. Keeping that in mind, it's still, of course, a big question mark on whether that should be his final resting place or not, and that's why there is still quite a bit of speculation on the same. My colleague Arun now joins us over the phone lines with more details. Arun, we do understand that they are planning to once again resume rescue operations. However, any word on when they will start again?
Just a small correction, Akshita. The rescue operations have been called off. Now the process has already begun. In fact, we are given to believe that the plumber turned inventor of the robo, Manikantan, is still stationed in Bagalkot, and the process is to try retrieving the dead child's mortal remains.
Right. Arun, stay with us. We'll come back to you. Meanwhile, we're joined in by District in Charge Minister, Mr. S.R. Patil, over the phone lines. Mr. Patil, yesterday you did state that you are going to put a halt to the rescue operations. Is it correct that you will be resuming it once again?
Madam, yesterday we stopped excavating the soil and going through the tunnel to the nearer the body of Timmanna.
Okay.
But today, so many options were kept open yesterday. But because the owner of the land had objected, and because his soil will not be fit for cultivation, so a huge tank has been created in his land. He requested the district authority to fill that tank and make the land leveled one. And expert, soil mechanics expert Dr. Srinivas Murthy, retired professor of Indian Institute of Science, he also advised not to take up this process. And this rescue operation is a little bit dangerous and it is humanly impossible to complete it, he advised. And yesterday we had convened a meeting of all political parties and also all the heads of the different organizations. All political party heads and the different organization office bearers requested the district authority to stop the rescue operation by way of excavating the soil and making tunnel at the depth of 160 feet. Everybody requested, and we resolved unanimous resolution that we are going to stop this process. But other options are kept open. Anyhow, body is required for post-mortem. So with different techniques, we are trying to take out the body from the failed borewell, which is at the depth of 150 or more.
Mr. Patil, are you planning to use Mr. Manikantan's robotic arm once again to try and pull out the little boy?
No, Madam, Manikantan, he has tried his best. And one more, Mr. Hiremat, Basuraj Hiremat, he also tried his level best. But now we are adopting a different method by air compressor, by putting air into the borewell. That we are trying to take out the body because that body is required for post-mortem. At least one bone is required to have a DNA examination. For that reason, what our Advocate General advised, anyhow you try to get out of the body and make a postmortem. Then with dignity, that body is to be buried or burnt as per the religious aspect of that community.
Mr. Patil, if I'm not wrong, you're saying that you will use the air compression method. Was that used even before in the earlier stages of the rescue operations?
No, air compression means rig machine. It will put an air inside the borewell, and that air will try to come out. While the air will try to come out, then body will be pulled up, and body will be taken out.
All right. So when will this take place, Mr. Patil?
Pardon?
When will you be going ahead with this kind of an operation?
Now only we are thinking to start today only.
Right. So today it will begin. So can we expect an end to it by tomorrow?
By evening it may be completed.
Right.
It is quite possible, madam.
Right. Mr. Patil, also has the government agreed upon this that you will do whatever it takes to pull out the little boy's body so that you can go ahead and have a postmortem?
We have discussed with an Advocate General just now. What Advocate General is advising us, body should be taken out. What our Advocate General is telling, you don't leave the body in the borewell. Anyhow, it should be taken out because it is required for postmortem. And law will, there is a mandatory to undergo the postmortem after death.
Mr. Patil, also, what has the family got to say about this? Are they okay with you going ahead and using this air compression technique to pull out little Timana?
Anyhow, we have to adopt one technique. There are so many techniques available nowadays.
But are they?
We have informed the parents already. We have conveyed message to the parents. Parents will also come here.
What have they said, Mr. Patil? Are they okay with the decision, or do they believe that the rescue operations should be stopped completely?
No. Who said? Rescue operation has not been stopped fully. Only excavating the soil and going up to 160 feet. Afterwards, going through the tunnel towards the dead body of the boy. We stopped that excavating the soil. We stopped that process. Not other options. Other options were kept open yesterday only.
All right. All right, Mr. Patil, thank you so much for talking to News9 and taking us through the scale of rescue operations. So those are the updates for you. Yesterday, they made it very clear that the excavation will not take place anymore and that there is a very clear stop to the question they're taking up now is whether they can use technology to pull out little Timanna's body from the mouth of the borewell. There will be no excavation whatsoever. Well, my colleague Arun once again joins us over the phone lines with more updates. Arun, we just spoke to Mr. S.R. Patil. He's made it very clear that they're going to use air compression technology, first of all, to try and pull out the little boy's body. If that doesn't work, they'll try to use other means of technology. And also, of course, the excavation is what is completely stopped. The question that's bound to arise is how long will this take now, considering, of course, that they've tried almost everything over the span of the last 7-8 days. Will this make a difference?
Akshita, the need or necessity for this action is warranted because of the opinion from the Advocate General. Remember, this particular boy in question has died under unnatural circumstances. If it was a case of a death occurring due to natural circumstances, then it would have been a different situation. But because the child has died under unnatural circumstances, remember he fell into the bore well. So it becomes necessary or imperative that there should be a post-mortem, because later on, not today, but sometime in the future, there could be a possibility that the government or somebody else could be hauled over coals saying that there was no post-mortem done to establish the exact cause of death of the child. So to avoid that, to avoid legal complications, that's the reason why perhaps the Advocate General has advocated the fact that the body should be extracted or extricated from the borewell, and even if not the body, perhaps some bone or something to prove conclusively that the DNA of the child, that is indeed the DNA of the child, and that could match with that of the relatives. So that would prove conclusively that the child was the one the human remains, as if you are to use that phrase, the human remains which we find inside the borewell will be that of the child. That point will be established. So it's basically to avoid any possible legal hassles in future that this is being done. But at this point of time, as you rightly pointed out, Minister S.R. Patil saying that the air compression method will be used, and that will be used to extricate, if not the entire body, some parts of the body, Akshita.
Right, Arun, thank you so much for joining us with all those details.